Insurrection, a rising against civil or political authority, the open and active opposition of a number of persons to the execution of a law in a city or state. It's equivalent to sedition, except that sedition expresses a less extensive rising of citizens. It differs from rebellion, for the latter expresses a revolt or an attempt to overthrow the government to establish a different one or to place the country under another jurisdiction. Insurrection is, however, used with such latitude as to comprehend either sedition or rebellion. John the Revelator said, "In the beginning there was the Word was with God, and the Word was God." I think this means people spoke truth in the distant past. So much so that John and the rest of them started noticing the lies they'd been told and were still being told by the people in power. But people rising up against power is as old as power itself. It's gone by different names throughout history, but the through line is mostly the same. Organized, forceful opposition to some current state of affairs, be they political, economic, social, or whatever. Often violent, often short-sighted, and often driven by hidden hands. Men who live in the shadows and do their best to keep their hands clean of any of the real dirty work of revolution. And there it is. That's the word that stands out among them all. Revolution is the winner. Revolution is the prize. What the others can all become if the rebels win. In this video series, we'll be taking a look at insurrections over the years. Some of them were put down, some of them weren't put down. Some of them the rebels won. And when the rebels win, it's called a revolution, in hindsight. When they're squashed, it's called a revolt, a rebellion, an insurrection. To the victor come the spoils, but to the victor also comes the right to write history. The right to control the narrative, to wipe their indiscretions from the record, while also recording only their perspective. They say the pen is mightier than the sword. In words as weapons, they guide the present as much as they whitewash the past. The burning of books, an act of complete spiritual and information warfare, was all too common among the socio-political upheavals of the past 500 years. But this attack on heritage and humanity only succeeds in concealing the past. The weapons of propaganda and censorship are what have plagued humanity for hundreds of years, and what still impact us today. Controlling the narrative is the same as controlling the people. In the coming videos, we'll look at the institution of insurrection, thought-provoking social and political uprisings across the ages, drawing from first-hand accounts, diaries, legal testimonies, as well as the propaganda of the times, in the form of pamphlets, flyers, newspapers, etc. We're going to get a feel for what these events were really like and how they affected the people involved. And we're going to try to make sense of the big everything. This whole confusing mess. The obvious lies we've been told about our past. The manufactured divisiveness that's eroding our social fabric. And the heinous contextual backdrops imposed on seemingly all aspects of our current zeitgeist. We're going to go chronologically for the most part, drawing out patterns and jumping around a little bit, asking questions as we go. History doesn't repeat itself perfectly per se, but the same archetypes echo through history for sure. Every generation inherits the debris and baggage of the last insurrection. The same tropes get recycled with new lead actors and new garnishing. But it all seems more pressing today, more looming, more real. Difference now is speed of information. Subversives don't need to burn books anymore. They can just appeal to the proper authorities to have something or someone canceled, censored, or deplatformed. This aversion to direct, nuanced conversations about tough things leaves many people chasing comfort and novelty and escapism as distractions from the truth that is just too hard to bear. And if the past 5 centuries have shown us anything, it's that power adapts. It learns to disguise itself in the language of liberty, to wrap control in the flag of freedom. The adversary comes in many different forms: a senator, terrorist, banker, rioter, an algorithm. But their instinct is always the same, and that's to rule without truth, without authenticity, to rule from the shadows, to gain the upper hand in an underhanded manner. And this series isn't a call to revolt at all. It's a call to remember, to reveal, to try and wave away the occulted, smoky covering up of our history and ask who lit each match along the way, who was funding the fire and fanning the flames, and who said what when it was all said and done. And until we can all wake up and notice the patterns, we'll keep marching to the same drum, their drum.